I'm Patrick O'Neill with Cyberscoop. I'm here with Evan Blair of ZeroFox. He's the co-founder. It's a social media and digital security company. And Evan, what I want to do, because it's February, we're almost a month into the new administration, and this is a topic that is never not going to be important, at least for the next 4 years, is Donald Trump's Twitter account. Basically, I'm going to list out all the potential apocalypses we face, and you're going to either talk me off the cliff or not, and explain how we can best protect this incredibly important tool all of a sudden for the President of the United States.
Sure.
We have Donald Trump basically writing policy, engaging in foreign policy and domestic policy, launching attacks, launching defense, and basically engaging in all aspects of politics on Twitter all of a sudden, which means that the security of his account is of the utmost importance. It's, other than maybe Sean Spicer, the way he communicates with America the most frequently, right? So how is that account secured? Is there anything exceptional going on to make sure that that doesn't fall into the wrong hands the way the Associated Press Twitter account did a few years ago that, flash crashed the stock market?
Yeah. Well, the good news is Donald Trump hasn't tweeted out his password like Sean Spicer did. So we're on the right track there already.
Low bar, but all right.
So look, Twitter has two-factor authentication built into the platform for every user account. And I think it's important that everybody use two-factor authentication, especially the President of the United States. In addition to that, there's a lot of other management tools and techniques that they can use to add other layers before that Twitter account. But at the end of the day, that Twitter account resides logged into on his personal Android phone. Right? So there's always going to be a security risk. And I think we're facing an interesting time in communication where Twitter has now become a mainstream political tool, and I think it's neat. It's a really cool opportunity to see the evolution of communication and the one-to-one communication, regardless of your political views. I think the White House and Donald Trump have found a way to bypass the media and the filter that the media puts on a message. For better or for worse, it allows a direct one-to-one communication. It's kind of similar to how FDR used the radio in his fireside chats during the Great Depression. And so I think there's a lot of parallels of great leaders in the past having used technology that allows them to communicate more directly. But we haven't seen the possibility for, the official words of the President of the United States to be hacked. Right? Yes, we could have a server hacked, a system hacked, a device hacked, but now there's an opportunity for somebody to hack the very words of the President of the United States if they were to take over that account.
First of all, I think the President would probably hire you into the administration if he heard you the comparison to FDR, which is valid though. It is a new form of communication. There's a lot of, it's fascinating stuff, but I think one of the interesting points you raised is two-factor authentication. How strong is Twitter specifically is two-factor authentication? I know that for a while, when they were transitioning into using authenticator apps, they also still defaulted to SMS authentication, which is vulnerable if you're specifically targeted, which of course the President of the United States could be specifically targeted. So is the way that Twitter implements 2FA strong enough for this scenario?
I don't think we've ever faced this scenario before, and so the answer has to be no. I think there needs to be a full-scale security review around the specific account of the President of the United States. It is too important and too valuable, and there are too many apocalyptic scenarios if that account is no longer in the control of the White House.
And so I guess the next question would be, is that security review ongoing at Twitter, at the White House, in another arm of government? What's being done? And then the other question I would have is, could the necessary security measures be taken outside of Twitter? Is there a third-party solution that would be really effective in this scenario, or does it have to happen in downtown San Francisco at Twitter HQ?
Yeah, so I can't quite comment on what the White House is doing from a cybersecurity perspective and what ongoing security reviews are in place. But I can say that you hit on an interesting point, that I don't think it's Twitter's challenge alone. There are a lot of third-party management platforms that allow organizations to kind of add that extra layer of protection. Right? We use Hootsuite at ZeroFox as our media platform, but it also is a protection platform in the sense for logins that I now have an extra layer. You can restrict accounts from being able to publish via Twitter directly. Right? Twitter has that ability. And now, with Hootsuite, you can add that layer that only publish is allowed via Hootsuite, for example. And so Donald Trump could log into Hootsuite and have direct access to publishing on Twitter. He could also leverage tools like Hootsuite's Amplify product that allows him to push out pre-written messages as his own, allowing the White House policy staff to kind of inject some official commentary into the stream of personally written tweets. Now that may bypass the authenticity that the president's looking for, but just from a pure security standpoint, adding an extra layer in front, having Hootsuite in place for two-factor authentication, in addition to Twitter's own login security, would be a good first step.
And just for clarity, that's something that's not happening now. You can see him post, this tweet sent from Android, this tweet sent from iPhone, not from Hootsuite. Is that right?
That's correct. As far as we can tell via the API data that comes out of those tweets, yeah, he tends to post directly via an Android phone, and staffers do have access to his account as well, which poses another security gap if you've got more than one controller of that account, right? So now he's not the only potential victim or target in a cyber attack that was aimed at his Twitter account. We know that there's an iPhone in the mix that we've seen tweets posted from that could potentially be a way into that account.
Okay, well, I appreciate the education. I'm Patrick O'Neill with CyberScoop. This is Evan Blair, the co-founder of ZeroFox. Thanks so much for watching.